us. I mean,
Stevie, Marvin Gaye.
Right, so that's one thing I want to address. Number two, if you're a single guy, okay, looking for a girl, foreigner, waiting for a girl like you isn't the worst song in the world. At some point it does hit. But I want to mention a couple things before I talk about potential show ideas. But this one should tie into what we're doing since we're talking about artists, and we'll give them a very unique genre and how they build their platform. You know, when I was in college, I'm not afraid to admit, okay, that I used to watch soap operas every now and then. So some of your best artists actually came from the soap opera world. I'm only going to mention it two that stand in mind. Rick Springfield was one that was awfully good. Mm-hmm. And don't remember a song, but remember that he was pretty good. But the one that I do remember real well is Jack Wagner out of General Hospital. You talk about a guy that built his platform before he became an vocal artist. He used General Hospital, which is arguably one of the hottest soap operas out there, to do that. And, you know, Jack went on to have a fine vocalist career. So since we're talking about artists on the show, I think this is an opportunity to introduce both of those. Now, a couple of ideas we'll have, and then we're going to get ready for the Sports Exchange shortly here on the South Florida Tribune Broadcasting Network. Some of the future episodes that we're going to have down the road will be names of songs in terms of what they're meaning. We're not going to get into a elaborate presentation. I'll do a little bit more research about some of the more powerful names that I have, and then one that could potentially take place before I begin to do my heavy-duty traveling from December into mid-January will be some Christmas memories. Now, I know you haven't traveled quite as much as I had. Then again, probably a lot of people haven't. Mm-hmm. But let me tell you, I've had some pretty interesting times on the road on Christmas Eve when I think about the Christmas holidays. And I'll share a few of those stories. It'll be one of those types of shows that ain't going to last forever, but something short and sweet based on the holiday season. We can easily squeeze that in to the repertoire. So those are some of the things that we have to look forward to down the road here on the South Florida Tribune podcast with music tunes. But let's preview a little bit about what's ahead for the Sports Exchange. You know, again, we'll have that'll start at 8 o'clock Eastern time tonight. A few of the guests we're working on. We're gonna talk some hockey tonight, and we'll talk some football. And I'm going to leave it at that, though. It gives you an opportunity to tune in on the Sports Exchange here on the South Florida Tribune Broadcasting Network. But go to the Sports Exchange. If you're looking to find the show, you can go find it on Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, Castoff. And if you're a podcast addict, there. But I call the big three are Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. And then you'll search for any of our shows, whether it's the Sports Exchange, as well as some of the other ones that we have, the real and the rare. So, but check us out, follow us, and then if you like the episode, feel free to download it, and that way you'll always have something to fill in your program. Lewis and I have a baseball show that we're working on as well. What is it?
108 Stitches, baseball talk around the horn.
Right, but you know that'll be that's a show that's starting out a little bit. Takes some time to get traction, but it's always get the process started. But meanwhile, it gives us a little bit of taste of some of our favorite artists. If you have any ones that you want to send to us, you can feel free to write us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com and refer to the South Florida Tribune podcast. And then you can go ahead and send us some of your favorite artists. And if they're selected, we'll put them on our next show. How's that sound?
Yeah, and tell us why you like them. I always like hearing, what makes an artist resonate with a particular person, because I think that's the power of music that I think it's one thing music can do that a lot of other mediums can't. And, I'll leave it at that. But, one thing before we go, also, give us a following on social media. Obviously, Scott's on Twitter at Scott Morganroth. You can always find me on Twitter.
Scott Morganroth, I have two accounts. You have Scoop and then 5 3s, 33333. Or the other one, our business page here at Tribune South Florida Tribune. Go ahead.
You can also find me on Twitter as well at adio_Lewis00. I'm trying to grow my Twitter following. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. Follow me on Instagram at Louritos, LOURITOS. And you can give me a follow also on Facebook. My name is Louis Adio Weiss. This is Scott Morganroth.
And just so you also know, our presence on Facebook is actually South Florida Tribune. If you see our logo with the T with the palm trees in it, then you've definitely found the right page. But Yeah, this is Scott Morgan, Rock the Motor City Madmouth.
Louis Adio Weiss with another episode of Tribune Tunes.
And tonight we will be on the Sports Exchange at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, so I hope you can join us. Hope you have a great day, everybody, and play those favorite tunes and get what you want to get out of it, because I'm sure we all do. Take care.
Bye.
Good afternoon.
It was good. It was brief.